I was born in 1986, which means I grew up in the glow of a TV screen and the flicker of a VCR, rewinding moments that made more sense to me than the real world ever did. I developed a lifelong obsession with movies after watching Raiders of the Lost Ark on VHS. Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, running for his life from that giant rolling boulder, diving into snake-filled chambers, and standing helpless as the Ark is open and all hell breaks loose, Toad's face melting right before our eyes. It was terrifying. It was overwhelming. It was structured. Predictable in its unpredictability. It made sense. And then there was Ghostbusters, my all-time favorite movie. I didn't just see guys catching ghosts. I saw outsiders. The weird scientists, Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, Egon Spengler, Winston Zeddemore, building their own world because the ivory towers of academia couldn't hold them. I saw Slimer, I saw Gozer, who scared the hell out of me. I saw the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man stomping through New York like a cosmic joke gone wrong. And I thought, these are my people. That film and the mind of Dan Aykroyd, who has spoken openly about his autism and how his deep specific interest in ghosts and the paranormal helped inspire Ghostbusters, showed me something I didn't yet have words for. Difference is not deficiency. Obsession can be architecture. Fixation can build worlds. From there came Spielberg. Jaws, E.T., Close Encounters, Hook, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List. Then Scorsese, Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Casino, Gangs of New York. One showed me wonder, longing, connection. The other showed me chaos, identity, survival. Between them, I learned something critical. Human behavior is complicated. And I was not reading the script the same way everyone else was. Because while all this was happening, something else was quietly shaping my life. I had autism, diagnosed at 3. And slowly, painfully, I began to realize I had no social life whatsoever. The world outside the screen felt confusing, unpredictable, exhausting. But inside a movie theater, that was my sanctuary. People went there just like Sunday to church. You sat down, the lights dimmed, and for 2 hours, everything followed a structure, a rhythm, a language I can understand. At home, I grew up on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the real Ghostbusters, Batman the Animated Series, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And while I wanted to be a Ghostbuster, strap on a proton pack and belong to that team, I wanted something different from the Power Rangers. I didn't want to be them. I wanted to be friends with them. I was more interested in Jason, Zach, Billy, Kimberly, Trini, and Tommy, their conversations, their friendships, than when they morphed into costume. Austin St. John, Walter Jones, David Yost, Amy Jo Johnson, the late Twee Trang, the late Jason David Frank, they felt real to me. And yes, I had a massive crush on Amy Jo Johnson as Kimberly. She was the girl I wanted to have but could never get, because she was in her 20s and I was just an elementary school boy. That gap between longing and reality, I understood that early. Now here's where the story shifts. In 1998, I got into community theater. My first role, a footman and a fountain in Cinderella. Yes, a fountain. I had to fill my mouth with a cup full of water and spit it out as the lights went up. Tedious. Ridiculous. But the audience loved it. And that fountain became a metaphor for my life. Because I learned how to hold things in, timing it, releasing it on cue, performing what was expected. That's what masking is. Masking is method acting in a role you didn't audition for. It's Daniel Day-Lewis level commitment, but there's no Oscar at the end. Just exhaustion. You study people, you rehearse eye contact, you script conversations, you suppress instinct, you mimic tone, you analyze reaction like you're breaking down a Scorsese scene frame by frame. You try to pass. And over time, it becomes excruciating. Because scientifically, it isn't emotional, it's neurological. Long-term masking forces the nervous system into chronic hypervigilance. Your brain is constantly scanning for danger. Did I say the wrong thing? Did I miss a cue? Was that look negative? It's like that moment in Jurassic Park. The T-Rex just outside the car. You're frozen, holding your breath, hoping you don't make a sound. Except it's not a moment, it's your entire life. Your body stays in fight or flight mode. Cortisol levels rise, anxiety increases, depression follows, burnout becomes inevitable. Research has shown clear links between prolonged masking and increased rates of mental health struggles, including suicidal ideation in autistic individuals. That's not weakness. That's what happens when a nervous system is never allowed to rest. For me, one of the few things that helps reset that system is deep pressure, a firm hug, compression, grounding. It shifts the body from fight or flight into rest and digest. It's not abstract, it's biological. And here's something else I've learned along the way. Environment matters. I often found myself gravitating toward female-led spaces, not as a rule, but as a pattern in my experience. The communication there tended to feel more direct, more nurturing, less coded. It reduced the guesswork. Some, not all, but some male-led spaces, by contrast, could involve more posturing or competition, which felt unpredictable and overstimulating. If Spielberg directs connection with warmth and emotional clarity, and Scorsese directs tension, hierarchy, and volatility, that's the difference it can feel like navigating different social environments when you're autistic. Because when you're autistic, the question isn't just where do I belong, it's where can I exist without bracing myself all the time. I miss the fine print of social cues. I might misread a look, a tone. I might say or do something that lands the wrong way. But I need you to understand. I never mean to hurt anyone. I'm just navigating a script written in a language I wasn't born speaking. And if people can't accept who we really are, that's their failing. Not yours, not mine. Now let's be very clear about something. Autism is not a failure to adhere to social rules. Often, those rules exist to protect people from being targeted or excluded. What you call symptoms can also be adaptive responses, pattern recognition, honesty, deep focus, sensory awareness. We are not failed neurotypicals. We are different systems entirely. We are directors, thinkers, builders. We are the Ghostbusters of our own lives. And it's time to stop pretending otherwise. That means unmasking, but not recklessly, strategically. In the workplace, that can look like requesting clear written instructions instead of vague verbal ones. Advocating for sensory accommodations, noise reduction, flexible lighting. Using structured communication tools instead of ambiguous social expectations. Disclosing selectively when it serves your safety and growth. There are neurodivergent-friendly career resources, organizations like Neurodiversity in the Workplace initiatives, inclusive hiring programs, autism-focused career networks, and companies actively seeking cognitive diversity. Community matters too. Finding neurodivergent-friendly spaces online or in person where you don't have to perform constantly can change everything. Spaces where direct communication is normal, where stimming isn't judged, where silence isn't awkward. And just as important, we cannot turn this into us versus them, because that's not how the world improves. The goal isn't separation, it's translation. Mutual understanding. Neurotypical people are not the enemy. Ignorance is. Systems that refuse to adapt are. And I know the world right now feels scary. Socially, politically, culturally. It's loud, it's divided, it's uncertain. But I choose to see the good in people, not because I'm naive, but because it makes me feel safer than being angry all the time. Anger might feel powerful, but it burns you out. Hope builds something. So here's the call to action. To neurodivergent individuals, stop being the fountain. Stop holding everything in just for the sake of the audience. You were never meant to live your life on cue for someone else's comfort. Step out of the wings, drop the mask, take your place center stage, and to everyone else, make room. Not as charity, but as evolution. Because the world doesn't get better by narrowing who belongs in it. It gets better by expanding. We are not strange. We are not broken. We are not failed versions of you. We are something entirely our own. And we've been here the whole time, writing, building, imagining, surviving. I'm ready to believe you. But are you ready to believe me?